Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Felix here. Um, I've just come in to do a energy update for the months gone and the months to come, just to kind of touch base and see where we're all at, really, because it's been a bit of a crazy month. Not as much as October, thankfully, but it's still been um bringing change at the moment. So it's been a bit rocky and a bit volatile and a little bit with a lack of direction. So I'd like to get into that today and just kind of touch base and see how we can integrate where we're up to at the moment, and just kind of get some level of understanding because it's a little bit it's a little bit crazy right now. Um, but first, I'd just like to do some housekeeping on the month of December. So the first thing is we have got Self Care Monday coming up on the 4th, which is a free event. I've got quite a few free events this month to come, like I've been doing recently. The Self Care Monday comes on the 4th of December, um, at 6 p.m. UK time. And then on the 7th, we're doing the Psychic Healing and Development. Just to because that seems to have been going really well. I've really enjoyed teaching the classes and I've had some good feedback from it. What I will just show you here is where you can find the originals. So if I just share my screen right now, we go onto my website, and then come into the more and go down to Psychic Healing and Development. You can actually find the repeats of the sessions that we went through for the past 3 months here. And then if you go on the tab as well, you can also get onto the Gridwork Training and Development class to find the repeats there and just to kind of pinpoint what it was we were actually looking at and doing. I am filming this on Thursday, the 30th of November. So really, I'm kind of doing that class again tonight. So that would be good. It was good fun last time and needed for group healing, really. So yeah, we've got the Self-Care Monday on the 4th of December, Psychic Healing and Development on the 7th at 6 p.m. Then on the 12/12 Gateway, the 12th of December, I'm doing an event at 6 p.m. there. That's a pay-in one, as well as the Winter Solstice on the 21st at 6 p.m. And then we've got the group grid session, which I believe is on the 28th, which is a free session at 6 p.m. So yeah, I would love to have you all there. Now, just a quick update on the expand category. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just putting a pause on that at the moment. I will still leave it up there for people to access, but I'm not going to be updating it at the moment because I've just got too much going on. It's not. It feels like there's a lot of information on there already. There's like over 60 videos on there already of different meditations, and it's like a backlog of updates and a backlog of healing. So if you do want to access it, you can still sign up. I'm just not going to be doing updates on it at the moment. And when I feel aligned to come back in and doing that again, I will do that. Because at the moment I've just got too much on and I can't really give it the time of day to continue doing weekly videos. It's a lot for me. So yeah. So that's kind of where I'm up to on the business side. I recently did a video with Louisa Tanner Munson on her channel, on her YouTube channel. I'm going to try and find that as well, because it was so much fun to catch up with her again. And it was a really interesting topic. We went into Well, we went into the Divine Blueprint, but we didn't really go into the Divine Blueprint at the same time. So there was a lot of things that we kind of touched base on. Be the creator of your energetic blueprint, a conversation with Felix and Louisa. I'll just share the screen once again. I will attempt to leave it in the link below if I remember. But if not, you can just go directly to my good friend Louisa's podcast, The Barefoot Broadcast, which she shares with her husband, Carl. And you can find it here where we go in and discuss all of these different things. That was about 2 weeks ago. And I believe we've got a part 2 coming up at some point as well. So yeah, that will be a lot of fun. And thank you so much, Louisa, for sharing the time with me as well. It was great. Really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, anyway, let's get into the energy of November and December. What kind of occurred and where we're at and where we're going to be going into. So following on from October, actually, we'll start there because that was quite the intense month. And yeah, it was intense. So from that level of volatility, I want to say, the fluctuations of rebirth that happened during that time brought some quite substantial changes and some strong shake-ups to the foundations of everyone's field, really. And through that shake-up, for many, it was actually quite traumatic. It was quite hard to deal with. So through into November, there's been a deep period of introspection. Thanks. Okay, Yakaras mana ataburiya shokora. Let's just start letting some of the energy lift and move through. The deep energy of introspection came in almost as the Hermit card or as the Hermit itself. And this was to really go much deeper inward to process what was being released and understood. So going through these seismic changes, it can take a toll on the body where we need to kind of just take a moment to sit and reset the central nervous system, because these high energy transits, they can be quite a lot. So what this does is it shakes up all of the fields and breaks down a whole load of stuff where we can almost come to a place of instability. Now, within the instability, we're then given choice points to either fall with it or to hold space and hold ground to then repoint the foundations and update the architecture. So when we work to update the architecture and restabilize, it takes a lot of processing and a lot of understanding, a lot of sitting in stillness to be able to understand what is the new stuff coming in for us to grow into, really. And this has been quite pivotal of the month of November. I've noticed that quite a lot of people have had a few health concerns within clients and like family kind of things. There's been so much change that people sometimes haven't even necessarily had time to sit with it, myself included. I've moved apartments at the moment with my partner, and we've moved into a different place. So through this period of change and the breakdown that went on through October, it's like all of this upheaval brought in the space for the new apartment to land. Now, we weren't actually sure when we were going to be able to move, because the place wasn't built. And then all of a sudden, the next month it was all bang, everything slotted into place. And the next thing I know is everything was moving so quickly to then align into the new home. Now, if we look at the home as a reflection of your spiritual environment, and this place that I'm in now is currently brand new. It's a brand new apartment. That was my partner's actually, not mine, but yeah, it's a brand new apartment. So this is almost like a complete clean slate of shedding everything that was up to that point of living in the old place and the previous places, to then clean slate it and move into a fresh environment, fresh energy on fresh land, kind of. If we're looking at a grid system perspective, then it's not fresh land, but if we're looking at a new home perspective, then it is a fresh environment with an evolved sense of self within it. So as one moves through the grand rebirth, and then to have a symbol that was so obviously as a refreshing or a shedding of the skin or a shedding of the old to the new, we've got to take this into kind of consideration as to who we are and where we're going to on this the next level and journey. So this, I'm kind of feeling going into the singularity topic now. I'm feeling kind of pulled to look at that. So on the 11/11, what was the 11/11? When did I actually move into here? The 17th, thank you. So through the 11/11, we went through a kind of gateway period where we could access, and this has continued as well, it's still kind of going for me anyway, the continued access into the monadic memory fields and the monadic fields to gain a much more expanded awareness of what is and what has been, so we can do a rapid integration. So what brought the move and the chaos with a move or coming out of the birthing canal and into something, a new environment, we were then paired with this monadic memory streams of information coming in to give us much more clarity and understanding and awareness of the situation as a whole, of what's going on collectively, what's going on through our history, what's going on around us, to do a rapid integration of what we'd kind of gone through. So it wasn't just like a little bit of information, it's been massive amounts of information to pull in and pull ourselves together. But what this has done, it allowed it opened an access point to align into a singularity energetic. Now, those who know of the singularity or those who don't know the singularity, it is the convergence point of all the timelines to come together as a culmination to create an ending, or say an ending, but like a finishing point, let's say. It's not a finishing point because it just moves on from there, but it's where all the timelines come together and become one timeline. So we can see that kind of playing out on the world field or the world stage within the impeachment inquiries, the ongoing investigations of the Biden family. We can see the rapid changing and the breakdown of narratives and storylines coming to a close and coming to an end. And this would be the onset point for the people to rise and reclaim back the power. Now, this is interesting as well, because what I'm also noticing, and I've been drawn my attention to, was that of the economic collapse. And this has been quite significant. think it was this month, or it may have been last month, where I was guided to buy silver. Um, Now many people have already done this, to be honest. Were to kind of buy precious metals to kind of, and I didn't buy a lot at all because I don't really have that kind of uh, funds just lying around to buy. But I got enough that could potentially work for the best, really. And what I've kind of noticed as I'm having videos coming into my awareness, I don't tend to watch all of these things, but some of them I do feel aligned to doing. Um, all of them, and the ones that come up on the algorithm, they're all coming in and drawing focus and attention to the economic collapse point within December. So this is interesting. It's definitely worth checking out and using your own discernment, because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to give people advice on it and what to do. It's down to your own intuition. It's down to your own guidance. It's down to what is right for you to do. But I've been looking at a couple of videos, and it's like it's all feeling very resonant. Um, so you can look at people like Bo Polney, with thanks to my friend Teresa who raised that one for me. But then there are others that kind of come around that as well. Um, that kind of aid in the biblical understanding as to where we are and what is kind of going on within the timelines and the trajectories to kind of build that inner resonance as to why to go down there. So I never thought I was going to go into this topic right now, but obviously there's reason behind it why I'm saying it. I'm allowing the higher powers to kind of do as they will with this video. So we'll just see how it kind of goes. So yeah, that's been quite a significant kind of level of awareness that's come into my field. Now, the next thing that I'm being pulled into here is the topic of change as well. And it's this topic of change is very important because it's looking at all these ways that we have to cope with change and how we um, know how to deal with it, really, because it is a bit of a difficult topic because people don't really like change. um, yeah, people don't tend to like change because it's going outside of the comfort zone and it's coming outside of the box for their own usual thinking. So, how does one kind of work with it? How do we kind of process through it? Is just by monitoring and communicating with yourself on how safe you actually are and how secure you actually are. And this is a task in and of itself. Um, because when we come into a space of the unknown, it draws up so many unconscious fears and still points and standpoints because we don't really know how to navigate, how to move forwards, and how to kind of accelerate ourselves within that. And really, what I've learned through November, or what I've experienced through November and seen in the fields in November, is that there are a lot of people, a lot of energy of distrust and uncertainty, fluctuating, pushing pushing everyone into a state of kind of learning how to survive in different ways and different formats, because At the moment, it's very uncertain. We don't really know how to kind of navigate which way we're going in because we're in a place where it's not been done for about 26,000 years, to this degree. Um, and as we're kind of journeying through, as we're kind of journeying through that unknown kind of landscape, it's what builds the big evolutionary cycles. It's what builds the big development of trust, the development of the self, and pushes us into a place of rebuilding society, but rebuilding it in a way where it is much more focused on what we want to achieve, what we want to be, um, what we want to be building for our children and for our children's children. How can we navigate this big change when we don't even know what it's going to look like ourselves? But this is where the creator um, aspects of ourselves really get kicked into place, with the breakdown of monetary systems, with the breakdown of governmental bodies, and the breakdown of our own kind of personality, our identity, and of what we once knew as the earth into something completely different. So this is quite substantial, and it feels like through 2024 we're going to really start pulling all of this together. We're going to start pulling this together, and when reviewing the creation aspects, the creative aspects of ourselves, and the creation are parts that we play within creation, we need to understand what our roles are within that. So when we understand our roles and what it is that we can do on both a physical level and on an energetic level and on a multidimensional level, we can then start seeing our strong points in how to harness our abilities to cultivate the life we want to live and the world we want to create. Now, within the processing of um, our creative aspects, we're really going to be going much deeper into. Sorry, there's a lot of distortion through the fields today, and particularly around this topic because it's also a collective issue that we're learning how to become creators, which obviously we are, and we have been doing so. But it's kind of the transmission is having to unlock and break down all all of the levels of unconsciousness in the process to make it conscious. So if we look at our own creation aspects, what is it that we are doing in our own lives, energetically, um, and ethically for the world, for the universe, for the creator blueprints? Um, what position do we play? Are we a builder? Are we an architect? Are we a dismantling? Or do we dismantle? Do we do both? Are we alpha and omega, or are we just alpha or omega? You know, all of these different kind of scenarios and playouts that come forwards, we can learn to integrate and we can learn to update to really build a much deeper understanding of who we are and what we've come here to do, to play the role of the architect, to play the role of the one who dismantles the old. And how does that play out on a physical level? Is it playing out through our own healing? Is it playing out through our own channeling capabilities, or is it playing out through a destructive cycle or pattern? And how can we get ahead of it? So I think the thing is here, in reflection of creation, how can we kind of document or journal these parts of ourselves? We do that through um, understanding who we are and understanding our own cycles and what the intention is behind it. I'm just going to pause there for a moment. There's a lot of light moving through me, and I'm just going to have some tea as well. Ataras mana atabori yeshu kora, nasne akurash masma akio kanen. So really through this period of more expanded monadic awareness that we're building into our current perspective, our current lens of perception, this expanded set of awareness gives us much more opportunity to kind of go in and understand what it is that we do as a source being. That allows the intrinsic help for for knowing who you are and how to kind of progress forwards on your journey of the unknown. And all of this, when we kind of take a step back and view through the objective lens, we can actually see everything that we're processing and understanding about ourselves is the unknown, because it is shielded by levels of amnesia that one cannot see. So within that understanding, we come back to the point of change, building trust, building faith, and building the inward communication with the self to gain access to pull the information in. Now, what I will say as well is when we kind of go through these processes, it's inevitable that we also judge and question what it is that's coming in. We judge and question the validity of what's coming in and the truth behind it. But I think the thing to question within this, if it is something that is completely unknown, how can we be closed off to the potential of what's being given to us? Because the way that the divine will work can be in ways that are so unexpected that gives you the access to integrate and then remodel if you're open to receiving it, right? So it's interesting to modulate and play with this idea of the with the unknown, and learning how to communicate and learning how your body communicates, how your guidance structure communicates, how your fractalized aspects communicate with you, to build this higher sensory perception and awareness of the extended parts of yourself. Very interesting kind of topic to unravel, and really kind of process the lengths of what you are, who you are, and your potentiality. So, you know, each layer is going to open up as and when the time is right, usually through the unlocking of information, the unsealing of the aspects of the self, the unsealing of your own energy to gain access to the memories, really. Um, yeah, it's a funny old world, isn't it? When we kind of sit here and go through it, you're like, wow, oh my God, I'm having a full-on Homer Simpson moment in the episodes where he goes from the speck of his hair all the way through the universe and the cosmos, only to come out of his nostril. And you're like, oh my God, it's all connected and it's all there. Um, so yeah, and I think coming into this more expanded awareness of self and understanding how you operate or how your energy works, how you operate really. You discover more and more about your role and about your purpose. Now, we've got so many people that question and ask, what is my role? What is my purpose? But you have so many. You've got so many roles, you've got so many purposes that just one answer is never enough, and it can never be somebody to answer it to you. It's always you that has to answer it through the journey of self-discovery and through the unraveling of your history on a multidimensional spectrum. We're looking at the past lives, we're looking at the present life, we're looking at the galactic lives, we're looking at the celestial lives, both sides of the polarity, good and bad, because we all have a role to play within all parts of creation. And sometimes we kind of seed negative things within our own energy field as a part of creational growth. And with that bit of information, breaking down the stigma of shame, blame, and guilt through the layers of experiences that we've kind of gone through, we can't really hold a judgment upon ourselves or upon others for what they've done, because there is always a significant reason why it was put there in the first place. And perhaps sometimes that where we go through the bad, it was actually to push us more into the light, to be able to help ourselves grow into a much stronger divine essence. Atanamasna akia korasna asiya. And what that will also hold is a much deeper level of where you are holding separation within yourself. That's blocking the alignment to the source aspect. That's blocking the alignment to your divinity. And it's through unraveling and loving those parts of yourself is how you kind of bring the most stuck, fragmented, parts that are lost within ego of the true identity, lost within the ego, struggling to find the true identity, should I say, that we can then give them the gift to come back in, bringing a multi-layered alignment and clarity. It's quite a lot to think about, really, isn't it? Which is Both a blessing and a curse, depending on where you're sat and how many dishes you've got to wash. Um, but even when we've got the dishes to wash, we can still sit there and think whilst we're doing it and turn it into a state of meditation. So, yeah. Well, I think I'm done rambling anyway. It's been lovely to catch up with you all. Let's just run a quick meditation and just start pulling everything back in that we've learned today. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful December, a wonderful Christ Mass. Um, and just take a couple of breaths in. Take one big breath in of aqua, light, aqua and gold, light. And let's reconnect into the founder flame, access into the founder blueprints, and just bring that founder aspect essence to your forefront perspective, Yadrama Smart Kyokora. And ask the role, ask the question, what is the role I play within the founder race consciousness? Ask for all seals to be unlocked here. Activate the founder aspect. Update the Star of David. Ignite the primordial fields of creation. And release, revoke, rescind covenants blocking any of this information from coming forwards. Bring it forward now. It's time to become aware. Light and sound. Release out fear, unworthiness. It is the trick of repeating and unsealing the question at different times to discover more parts of yourself that has been hidden through time structures or time junctures. Bring through light, So you can see multi-layered systems connected through the founder races. Hierarchical information with multiple roles played by the individual in different levels and tiers. Yatra asama ataporia shokora. And what we want to do here is question what your role within the founder race is, your role within the creation of races has been, and what the purpose of the founders was. Each will have their own individual experience, and some may be outside of the founder race and actually be the creation of them. Because here, what we're doing is we're breaking down the separation of source into the different categories and layers of source light to form, and the stages in between, the processes in between, the logistics and the technical. The technical building, Yatra Asyamasma Okupora, so we can get more of a wider lens perspective. Masmiyakura Asyatra Anyatne. and the fear that comes with looking at this perspective. Yadra asiyama atabuhi agora. Because the truth can be scary at times. Mm. I'm going to upgrade the lenses to objectivity, further objectivity, and to allow any feelings to pass through the system without taking ownership. As we unlock the understanding of where we came from the separation of source, from source, to the building of the blueprints, to the building of creation, or the creation of blueprints, to the materialization, and each layer in between. And the understanding of dimensional layers and information. And through that, we restore divine will. Restore divine strength and divine truth. With that inherent understanding of where you come from. As a being of light. Which is actually quite magical and restores the divine connection. We're going to just call back all of your essence. I'm going to update through all of your fields, update through your localized grids, update your gnosis and understanding, update your perceptions, your perspectives, and your blueprint. Matiadras maataburia shiakia kerashnas naatian. Neyakura amosmo unotiadra maasi karasna okya kerash. Sikyarasmana ataburia su otura. Anyatramasmana okia kara anahi. Niekrasmana atiatarash mosmo uto durasna usiatra anai ma akirasna esemet. Mishmarashna asya. Hakia kurashmasmana utuburia su otura. Placing containments of protection, rejuvenating life force through the tree of life, and seal forward now through all levels or layers of light, through all bodies and through the breath of the divine I am presence. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful month to come and a really, really, really amazing new year. Sending loads of love, loads of support. Bye.